Welcome to another episode of literally the coolest podcast on the planet. With the coolest listeners on the planet. We have lunch with amazing people, and while they feed their face, we steal their sauce. Welcome to Lunch with the Cool Kids.
Welcome to Lunch with the Cool Kids. I keep saying that I'm a freestyle, and I never do. I need to get it together. Like, y'all don't care. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with the Cool Kids. My name is Gerald Davis. I'm your host, and I'm not the cool kid you are. This is where we sit around and we talk about all the things that you would talk about at the lunch table. Appreciate everybody for hopping back in on this episode. And if you, wherever you're listening to, just stop right now. It's cool. Pause. We got time. Pause. Hit the star. Hit the rate. We're not on Apple iTunes. We're not on Apple Podcasts yet. We're getting there. If you listen on Spotify, that's probably the only place you're listening to. Because let's be honest, nobody's really listening on those other places. Who's on Deezer right now? I'm not on Deezer. You're on Spotify. Hit that star for Spotify. I appreciate it. Y'all. Oh, and love. Hit the heart. I say hit the love. That's not what Spotify calls it. They call it the heart. Y'all, I'm excited today. Because, so y'all hear me talk about my loving wife all the time. And I feel like y'all don't believe like she exists. I feel like y'all think that she's not a real person. My daughter talks about her. I talk about her. Have all these wacky, funny stories. But yet, she's never here. And last week, I told y'all we gonna get her on one day. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have my precious, lovely wife, Danielle Davis.
I don't know what to do. Hi.
How you doing, darling?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. We live in the same home.
We do.
So we see each other a lot.
Yes.
But it seems like that on this platform, like nobody ever knows that you exist.
I like it like that.
I hate it like that. Why do you like it like that? Let's crack that nut real quick. Why do you like it like that?
'Cause this is your thing. I don't necessarily like being out front on almost anything.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. But you decide to grace us with your presence today.
Yes. I received your deposit, so I showed up today.
We got some fun things to talk about today. We're gonna talk about. So for all you cool kids out there who are deciding that, like, man, I need to take this social media thing seriously, because let's be honest, if you're not really on social media and you have some type of business, you don't really exist. It's true.
I'm trying not to exist.
But you exist in my heart.
That's where it counts.
But not on social media.
No.
So if you are a business, if you have something of worth that you need to let the world know, I assure you, you're not listing it in the yellow pages. Doesn't work like that. So we're gonna help you get consistent where you can post. It's gonna be great. We're going to talk about something that apparently a lot of people are passionate about, and what this is about. We'll save that. I don't want to give it away. What I do want to talk about right now, before we get started, is my terrible haircut. What do you think?
About your haircut?
Yeah.
I think it looks fine.
My haircut.
I'm not even gonna say what you think you want to look like, but
What do I want to look like?
I don't even want to say it because I didn't like it. However, I will say I think your haircut looks fine. I think it was sharp when it was done. I just think you didn't look like the 1989 Johnny Gill that you think you should look like in 2023.
There's only two things that a black man cares about on his haircut. Literally only two things. Those things being a tight fade, but not really. So it's not really only one thing. I'll say that. It's really only one thing that a black man cares about in his haircut. And y'all know what it is. It's a crispy lineup. It's a crispy lineup, AKA the Steve Harvey. If the Steve Harvey ain't there, then we feel like that our barber failed.
I'm over the Steve Harvey.
I'm not. And most of black America's not either.
Yes, we are. Ask the women.
You're the women.
Exactly.
You're the women, but right now, I no. My lineup's not crispy, and I told y'all about the barber who juiced me, so I need to find another barber. And
Gerald's had terrible barbers. Gerald had a barber come to our house and blow up our bathroom with no warning.
By blow up, what do you mean?
I think the humidity in the bathroom went up about 20 degrees. I went in there and immediately needed a gas mask, and I just walked right into it. It was like a rainforest. It was terrible.
He had a vicious bowel movement. I will agree. It was not good, but it was a crispy lineup.
It wasn't worth it.
It was worth it to me. Maybe not to everybody else, but it was worth it to
The
me.
downstairs bathroom that everybody else uses, that comes into our house, any guest in our home, at the front door, bam.
It's a small price to pay for a crispy lineup. So I'm walking around with this just above average hair. So it's back to hat day, y'all. It's back to hat day, and I'm still on the lookout for another barber. So if you're in the Atlanta area, you would think in Atlanta it would not be so hard to find a barber. At one point in time, you had a barber.
I did. I told you to go to her.
Okay. So I feel like that in hindsight, I probably should have. But if I'm being honest with you, I think it was my male ego.
I know it was. I told everybody. I knew.
I feel like it was my male ego that wouldn't let me go to my wife's barber. Like, you know, it's, as a man, I need to have my own barber.
I mean, you missed out. You did a great job.
And theoretically,
Every time.
you're right. You came home looking like something every single time. But I think that has a lot to do with you more so. You know, it's like, you know, if you are a good steak, it's kind of hard to mess up a good steak. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really be bad to mess up a good steak. And I think you're a good piece of meat.
Thank you. Don't be trying to flatter me in front of the world.
The millions and millions of listeners at the lunch table. So it's hat day. This episode is brought to y'all by Cheesecake Factory again. If you want $1 million meal, not at $1 million price, go to Cheesecake Factory. You know what we discovered? Like in the first, the first 2 or 3 episodes, we discovered that we as black folk in 2023, and maybe not even black folk, just folk, we gotta acknowledge. No. Acknowledge isn't the right word. We have to reconcile within ourselves that Cheesecake Factory is not a fancy restaurant.
We know that. Nobody's calling it fancy.
No, we don't.
It's a step above Applebee's, and we acknowledge that. And it's always packed. The service, depending on where you live, is so. But the spicy cashew chicken hits every time. Well, most times.
Y'all, what did I tell y'all? I told y'all every time she goes, what does she order?
Spicy cashew chicken, nothing else. And that brown bread.
The brown bread. Is it? Okay.
And the raspberry lemonade.
It's so funny. It's so funny that we'll go back to previous episodes. We'll listen to it. And that's exactly what I said. Are not our hearts intertwined? Listen. At some point, tell me if this is true. At some point in life, there was a thing where black folk would have a special occasion, whether it's an anniversary or a birthday, at in our marriage at an earlier point. You know, when we were gonna do something nice, we would dress up. Well, we won't really dress up, but we would go to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, but I mean, we also did that. I had a dinner coat when I was little to go to Red Lobster, but I'm not doing that now. I mean, that was in the early 90s, late 80s. Cheesecake Factory, about 10 years ago, yeah, that was the place to be. I mean, and to be honest, I went shopping for Christmas, took the girls to, was it Arbor Place Mall?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Arbor Place or Cumberland?
I don't know why I agree with you. It's Cumberland.
Cumberland, yeah. Cumberland Mall.
I really just kind of agree with you to get the story on.
Yeah. Anyway, we went to dinner, and it was packed. I'm just trying to show my girls a good time because, we don't take nothing for them. So I'm like, we'll go to the Cheesecake Factory. They'll get their little flatbread pizza, and Savannah going to order a salad, whatever. It was absolutely packed. But I've never been when it's not packed. Maybe at a lunch type, time or something like that. But dinner, always out the door.
Because us colored folk, when we want to have a good time, we going to go to Cheesecake Factory. What my proposal is in 2023 is that we downgrade Cheesecake Factory from a special occasion to a night out.
But we've already done that, you and I.
We have, but...
Let people have things. Let people have things.
People need to know that cheesecake... Listen, if you want to take your wife out and let her feel the love, Cheesecake Factory ain't the place, is what I'm saying.
If she asks for Cheesecake Factory, you get your lady Cheesecake Factory. Now, if she asks for Nobu, then there you go.
Nobody don't know what Nobu is. What's Nobu?
You know what Nobu. Nobu is an upscale restaurant. One just opened here in Atlanta. That's our next date night.
That's fine, and I have no problem taking you to Nobu for a fine dinner experience.
Yes,
but I think that there's still this misnomer out there that Cheesecake Factory is the Nobu experience.
And it may be for them. Let them have it.
So this will be the last time that she's on the show. Oh no. So this episode is sponsored by Cheesecake Factory. Also Saratoga Water. I will say, and I told the cool kids how my loving wife introduced. So we went to Nan's. That's where the Cheesecake Factory conversation came up. That we went to Nan's for a fine dining experience, and gone are the days where I take you to Cheesecake Factory for that said fine dining experience.
True.
So we were at Nan's, and the guy was So let me catch you up. So this is where all of these clips about like the waiter, the waiter, if you don't drink, they think you cheap, and all of that stuff. So that's where that conversation came from, and so what we're admitting is that you don't listen to my podcast.
Well, I heard the one about the waiter, you not drinking and people thinking you're cheap because you don't drink alcohol, and I read the comments.
Okay. So
I'm looking at the camera every time because I watch The Office.
Do it. So we went to Nan's, and I didn't want the waiter to think that I was cheap because I'm not ordering any alcohol. So I asked, what can I have? Hey, sir, what can I have that's a good time, that's non-alcohol? And he said something. And when he said it, I would have to admit that I didn't understood what he said.
I saw it on your face.
But I'm at Nan's, so I can't let him know that I can't understand him. So I'm like, okay, sure. And what the fine gentleman said was, I think sparkling water.
He asked you sparkling or flat. But let me interject.
Please.
Anybody who speaks to Gerald with any type of accent, it does not matter what nationality, any accent, if it's a little bit thick, Gerald can't hear you. He cannot decipher what you're saying. And I have to then play translator. So I just want you all to know that if you guys have a conversation with Gerald and there's any type of Jamaican, Asian, Spanish, anything, he's not hearing a word you're saying. He's trying to figure out. He's really trying really hard to figure it out, but he's not getting there. So that's where I come in, and it's okay.
So none of that's true, but in this case, it was.
Only this case.
So he said something, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. And it was Saratoga. It was sparkling water. Now, I'm not 75, and I don't like sparkling water because that's what 90-year-olds drink.
Not true.
So, but this case, I've already shaken my head because I don't want to be the guy who doesn't understand the waiter at Nan's. So he brings out Saratoga. And I sip it, and it is the most delightful drinking experience that I've had in quite a while. So I drank the whole bottle, took it home. It was all good. And like, that's what I'm drinking today. So this episode is brought to you Saratoga. If you don't drink and you go to a fancy schmancy restaurant and they ask you what you want, say you want Saratoga, sparkling water. Sparkling, not flat. And my wife, my loving wife, she thought that it would be a funny idea, a gag gift, as the kids call it, to buy me a thing of Saratoga for Christmas. And I got it. And, well, you know what? Darling, tell me, what was your thought on the Saratoga gift?
I wouldn't even call it a gag gift. It was more so like he really likes this. Maybe it was a gag because I thought it would be funny if he opened it up and just saw a case of sparkling water. But at least it would be one that he enjoys. So, yeah, I guess it was a gag gift. But I just knew that he liked it a lot. I knew that he wasn't going to buy it for himself. So I found some and I bought a case.
And I thought that was the most thoughtful thing. Like, I almost wept over this Saratoga. Like, it doesn't, listen, hey, it doesn't take a lot. Like, it doesn't take a lot. If it's thoughtful, man, it gets me. So anyway, I've been on the Saratoga for probably like on 4 months now. So this episode is brought to you by Cheesecake Factory, Saratoga. There is, you know, us colored folk, we like our TV. We like our TV.
Just the colors?
No, everybody likes TV.
Okay.
But I know a lot of colored folks, and I know a lot of non-colored folk. And right now, while our audience is growing, most of the folks are colored. And of those colored folk, there's a lot of TV being watched. If you're around my age, what was our shows? Our shows were Martin, Fresh Prince, In Living Color,
Living Single.
Living Single. We're gonna come back to Living Single because apparently we'll come back to Living Single.
There's a lot of them, Sister.
There was a lot of them, Sister. The whole UPN network.
UPN, WB, Wayne's Brothers.
Yep. Flex. Oh, remember Malcolm and Eddie?
I thought you were getting ready to say Homeboys in Outer Space. I was gonna
I forgot about Homeboys in Outer Space. I never watched Homeboys in Outer Space, but
Moesha,
yep.
the Parkers.
Yep.
Yeah. We
Good
had
times.
The 90s were a great time. I mean, that wasn't really our generation, but it was what came on after our shows went off, the reruns of Good Times and Sanford and Son, I should say. Yeah.
So I posed this question to the cool kids out there, and apparently it's a hot button topic. So my question was, what are some of the shows, I don't know a better way to say it, so I'm going to just say it. It's the lunch table. So I'm going to just say it. What are some of the white TV shows that black people would enjoy if they gave it a chance?
Are you asking my list? Because you know this is my jam.
Okay. I'm going to tell you what all the cool kids said, and then this is how we're going to do it. I'll say the name of the show, and then you give me what you think. Okay.
All right.
I feel like we need some theme music for that.
It's a little too much bass for the white people, for the white shows.
I feel like this is the beginning of us getting canceled. I let my wife on the show.
Can't cancel me.
My wife on the show one time, and then we gonna get canceled. Okay. Let's start off easy. Parks and Recreation.
You already know. You know, for me, Parks and Recreation I didn't watch it when it was on the air. I thought it was a little corny. I didn't quite get it. And I think I may have tried in the first season. And the first season, not great.
First season's not great.
But once you get around to season 2, 3, and the rest of them, it's a good time. It's a great time.
I think the first season they was trying to be. No, you told me this. You told me this about the guy. Go ahead and tell me what you said.
The guy.
Mm-hmm.
What guy? So
the first season, they had that guy who didn't work, and he was like supposed to be the love.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like the attractive man on the scene and all this stuff, and it just, for me, you can't fake it. It's got to be there. Like, it has to be some type of reality to it a little bit, and it wasn't it. No offense to that man.
I hope he's doing well.
I hope he is too. Hope he's able to feed his family forever, as Chris Brown told Robert Glasper. But anywho, however, when they got a real person and they got away from trying to make somebody the macho man in town and found a real companion for the main character, Leslie Knope of Pawnee, Indiana, it show became
Pawnee, Indiana.
It found something to be centered around. It became a really great show. Especially it's positive, nothing negative, nothing too controversial about it. It was a good time.
30 Rock.
30 Rock was a hit from day one. Season 1, episode 1.
Tina Fey is widely slept on. Like, I think her genius is appreciated, but like as far as like a comedic star, I don't think that she gets.
I think the same for Amy Poehler, who was Parks and Recreation, but Tina Fey, they're a duo. I will say that Tina Fey has made some slightly controversial statements that I don't necessarily subscribe to. I don't want to go into it too much.
I absolutely want to go into it.
No,
What'd she say?
Just things that may have been considered feminist or anti-pro women, things like that. But it was more so self-centered towards her. But I still enjoy Tina Fey a lot. I read her book a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a good time. I think she's smart, funny, which I really appreciate. The first episode, if you haven't seen 30 Rock, there's 2 episodes. Yeah, 2 that I can think of. The first one, in the first episode, she is at the strip club with Tracy Morgan. So you can imagine how funny that is. And I'm not a silly comedy person, but Tracy Morgan gets me every time, no matter what he's in.
I'm a Tracy Morgan guy.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
I'm a Tracy Morgan guy, but I don't need him starring in anything.
I don't know. I don't think I mind him. I don't need him playing a straight man or anything. I need him to be Tracy. No, like the straight, not funny guy.
Oh.
See, that's who's going to get us canceled.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean like as in not funny, but I mean he's a good time when he pops up, and he's actually, even though he's silly, if you really listen to him, he's actually very smart, funny. And then there's another episode where Alec Baldwin pretends to be Tracy Morgan's father, and that is very, 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 very conflicting, but it's hilarious.
I don't think I've seen that one.
He basically sounds like Fred Sanford, but it kills me.
One Tree Hill, Gossip Girl.
Not my jam. Don't know.
This is an easy one. A layup, as the cool kids would say. The Office.
I mean, what can you say? It's the mother and the father of so many offspring. Parks and Recreation is a spinoff of The Office, if y'all didn't know. You have Abbott Elementary now, direct, I guess you would say, fruit from the Office tree. I love it. I mean, it's so many gems. I did not care for the later seasons, basically once Steve Carell left.
Yeah.
But all those seasons, episode 1, or I think it's 2, Diversity Day, gold.
So, okay, like I feel bad because my Office moments are like the ones that everybody loves. Like when he spilled the chili.
Yeah.
And,
Kevin and the chili, yes.
And the fire drill.
The fire drill, yes. Dwight and his made up fire drill.
He cut the face off.
Yeah. There's also quiet moments, or maybe not quiet moments. A lot of it is quiet. When Michael, I think he's after a breakup, he goes out to lunch with Jim and some of the guys from the office, and they come back with 2 waitresses from the restaurant. I think they're having an office party, and they're both Asian, but Michael forgets which ones he came back to the office with. So he tries to mark them discreetly on their arm to remember who he came back with. I mean, just things like that. It would never, I don't know if it would work. I don't think it could work today. Maybe it could. I don't know.
Office would not survive today.
But I mean, it was amazing comedy. Like amazing. Steve Carell, like every time.
Okay, we're gonna rapid fire through these. Happy Days.
I did watch Happy Days when I was little.
I love Happy Days.
Yeah, I did watch Happy Days when I was little. I mean, it was cool. I don't watch it now. My kids won't know what Happy Days is, but you know.
It's sad to see Henry Winkler. Like, he's not cool at all.
He is. He's forever cool.
He's forever old.
He's the ultimate cool kid.
Okay. I don't even know why I looked at this. I'm gonna skip this one. I'm not gonna skip it, but I should, because I feel like you're gonna go to Roseanne.
Roseanne breaks my heart.
Why?
Because I loved Roseanne. I absolutely loved Roseanne. And I loved what the show back in the 90s stood for, and all the things that they talked about, and how they were a family struggling, trying to make it. They were bouncing checks and everything on that show, talking about the light bill called about their money. oh, I put it in the mail yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. It just seemed very relatable for the most part, no matter the race. I mean, some of it was very, very white because it was middle of America, but
Because they were white.
right. But I mean, it showed that the divide wasn't as wide on a lot of issues.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember the episode where DJ was he was coming into manhood and he was getting erections in his class. And Roseanne was like, she was talking to Jackie and they was trying to find a way to walk him through it and talk about the emotional things and the stains and stuff like that. And Dan came, he's like, yeah, just put a book over it.
That's it.
That's it.
One of my favorite episodes, but also kind of shows where the divide is, was when Jackie was came out that Jackie was getting beat by her boyfriend or fiance or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, she tried to keep. I think Darlene walked in her changing clothes, and all the bruises on her back and chest and stuff. Roseanne saw it. She told Dan. Dan just walked out like about to go handle business.
I remember.
And he comes back. He puts his hand in some ice. Roseanne got him some chicken. He came back with a bucket of chicken. That's what it was. And the cops came and knocked and was like, Dan, we got to take you in. And they put him in handcuffs. He told them to put him in handcuffs because he's just like everybody else. Now, that's where the divide is because.
We ain't going.
Right. That's a whole different thing. I'm not even going to go down that road. But.
Go down the road.
No. Then she put a piece of chicken in his mouth and he went to jail. I think Darlene got him out of jail. But, I mean, it was some good stuff. Roseanne really aggravated me what she turned into recently.
I think Roseanne, just stay with me. I got one more show, but stay with me. I think that Roseanne is kind of like R. Kelly. Hear me out. So, Roseanne was 100% wrong, right?
Yes.
But her art
No but.
was so good.
So Roseanne is not like R. Kelly because her art in the past did not reflect where she is now. R. Kelly's art in the past was written about little girls.
So what I mean is that there's this conflict among us that R. Kelly's like, you know, R. Kelly's a pretty easy call. Super wrong. Everything about it, no good. So most of us was like, okay, yeah, we can't listen to R. Kelly no more. Let's just, it's too much. It's too much. But most of us grew up on his songs. So it's like this conflict of I don't approve of who he is and what he did, but I love his art.
I hear you, and I have grown to accept that those are people's stances, but you and I know for me, once I say that I'm off something, I'm off of it. And just for the record, I have been off R. Kelly since before I met Gerald. That was one of our very first conversations, if not the first.
And I
2006.
And I hung in there to the bitter end. But I mean, yeah, you can't keep a dungeon full of women. You just can't do that. So,
Little girls.
Little girls. Well, I mean, you definitely can't keep a dungeon of little girls, but you can't keep a dungeon of like women either. You can't keep dungeons of people.
You can't keep dungeons of people, but the truth is he had little girls.
Yeah, I mean, especially little girls. But I'm just saying, like, we can't like say that because we can't say that the dungeons of the adult females aren't terrible either.
They're not terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they are terrible. Excuse me. They are terrible.
I'm gonna edit that one.
What's the last show? Because I didn't hear something very important, but I want to make sure I'm listening.
Okay. You gotta explain to me you have to explain to me Grey's Anatomy.
Explain the show or explain why people watch it?
Explain why. I mean, I think I know why people watch it, but like explain why like there's this great mass love affair with Grey's Anatomy that's been going on for 60 years and no signs of slowing down.
So I watched Grey's Anatomy when it first aired, like the rest of the world. And
So you were 3.
I was definitely like a senior or something in high school. I don't know. And it was great TV. But I think when I went to college and some of the storyline, like I just kind of fell off of it, whatever. And it was going on and on and on at a rapid pace. I didn't keep up with it. But the pandemic happened. And home from work for some months.
And you had nothing but time.
I killed some plants, bought some storage stuff, did some housework, whatever. And I said, let me try to get into this Grey's Anatomy from season 1, episode 1. And when I tell you, it was riveting TV.
And you're like, well, man, go figure. 20 years I've been missing out on Grey's Anatomy. Let me tell y'all something. I watch a lot of these shows by proxy because if my loving wife watches the show, then like I guess I'm in. Only problem is that like I can't watch all of them like boom, 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 boom. So like I'll be on one. So Grey's Anatomy, I would be on one episode, and it's season 2, and like I don't know, one of the doctors where they was doing something amazing. I don't know. And then I'd come back and it's season 9 and they're dead.
Like, nobody's safe. No, only Meredith Grey. But she's about to, I don't know if they're going to kill her off. They're going to retire. This is it this season.
She's got to be like 60 by now.
She probably is. But this is why she's time for her to retire. But I think Richard's still there, the older black man.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. So choose to respond or not. But Meredith Grey aged terribly.
No comment.
I got 2 more shows. I got 2 more shows, real quick.
Even though she wasn't. No comment. I choose not to say anything.
I just want to say that by saying that, you've said more than enough.
Find it if you want to. So that was your last show?
That was not my last show.
Oh, go ahead. I thought you said that was it.
Yeah, no, I got 2 more real quick. Man, this show has flown by. This could be a whole show. I got a whole nother thing. What do y'all want? What do y'all think? Y'all think we should just kind of keep it going or get to my topics? Y'all don't care about my topics. Y'all want to hear my loving wife, don't you? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll get through these 2 shows, and we'll see if y'all want to talk about this stuff. I'm gonna say it and just I'm gonna say it and then just respond. Frasier.
Love Frasier. Funny, smart, funny.
It's smart, funny. It's smart, funny, and I think that's part of the reason why. When you start watching it, you have to know that it's not going to be like a belly laugh situation. It's going to be like a, huh.
That's how I laugh at everything.
According to our children, you don't laugh at all.
I make them earn it.
It's a terrible way to live. Terrible way to live. I love Frasier. Frasier is one of my favorite shows. Okay, so I have this theory. So, growing up in the rural hills of Fort Worth, Texas, like a lot of times we didn't have cable. So, like that 10 p.m. block, 10 p.m. would always be I Love Lucy. And I like always, like.
Gerald is obsessed with I Love Lucy. Lucille O'Ball. Every documentary, every any type of interview or anything, Gerald has to watch the I Love Lucy. Not one more thing we can learn about Lucille Ball.
It's the funniest show. It's the most successful show in history.
It's hilarious. Yes, I'll give it to you.
And I know that a lot of the cool kids grew up like me. They didn't have cable. They had like 4 or 5 basic channels, and on whatever channel that was, it was reruns of I Love Lucy, Andy Griffith, Matlock, Perry Mason.
Those are everything I watched on Nick at Night. That and the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. That's when I went to bed because I hated that.
Well, you grew up with affluence.
My parents did expose me to a lot, yes. But affluence, I don't know. But I'm very grateful for my upbringing, yes.
So, for those of us who came up in the mud, we had Lucy.
Oh, my God.
Lucy and Good Times.
I had good times.
I know you had good times.
Just looking out of the window.
Keep going.
Watching the asphalt grow. You know I could sing the song. I don't even know why you playing.
Keep going.
Looking how it all looked hand me down.
Good times. Good times.
Keeping my head above water.
Mm-hmm.
Making a way when we can.
Temporary layoffs.
Good times. Easy credit ripoffs. Scratching and surviving. Hanging in a jam line.
No.
I think that's the word. I think that's it.
It's not.
What is it?
It's not. Okay.
Tell me what it is.
So I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to give you the backstory. So when did Good Times come out? Good Times came out in 1912. So that whole time that Good Times has been out, nobody knew what that part was. You be in elementary school, y'all riding down the bus, and you singing songs, and everybody singing Good Times. Just looking out, having great times, singing Good Times. You at the family reunion, somebody bust out. We still don't know who sung the song. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're singing the song. You're having a good time. You get to that part. Nobody knows what those words are. There was, man, I want to say in the 90s, because I was a little kid. I remember being little enough to be like, oh, that's what it says, but not old enough to, I was still invested. So I had to be a little kid. It was this big thing about what that part said. And somebody finally did all their research. Pre-internet. They did their research. And you know what it says?
What?
Hanging in the chow line.
Jam, child, same thing.
Hanging in the chow line. Yeah. Hanging in the chow line. It's a good place to hang.
Good job.
Thank you. So,
what's your next show?
I'm still telling the I Love Lucy story.
Oh, my bad.
So, no. Yeah. So 10 o'clock comes. I Love Lucy. Greatest show ever. And we know that. No debate. 10:30 would come. And that is where you got exposed to whatever else was hot at the time. And what ended up being hot, my loving wife, was Frasier. Most of y'all know or don't know it's a spinoff of Cheers.
Yes.
Didn't work out with Diane, so old Frasier Crane scooted up to Seattle. Turns out, old Frasier Crane has a family. He's a psychiatrist, brother psychiatrist, and his dad is this blue collar cop. Retired cop. Got shot, walk with a limp like 50 Cent. But before 50 Cent. So 50 Cent kind of stole the story.
Maybe. Well, I don't want to find out, 50.
Curtis. So, yeah. So, I've always been like a If I'm exposed to different stuff, then I at least want to give it a chance. And nobody else really liked Frasier because like it was still very Martin Fresh Prince ish in that time. So like that dominated everything. So I was like, man, it's Frasier. And like it's hilarious. Hilarious. Like Martin made you bust a gut. Ha 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 ha. Frasier made you, that's a clever play of words.
Yeah. My Frasier story is it would be reruns we would watch. It would be after the UPN shows would go off.
Mm-hmm.
And Frasier would come on. I think it would be like Friends and something else. And then Frasier. This is in Georgia. And my mom and I, we would sit up and watch those shows together, and we would have like one more snack. Sometimes it would be like some honey butter toast or something, simple that we can snack on, and it's delicious.
If you haven't had honey butter toast, it is a wonderful treat.
And we would watch Frasier.
This show is sponsored by honey butter toast.
I used to make those in college and give them out. But anywho, we would watch Frasier, and it would be hilarious. But it would be other shows. Just Shoot Me. I don't know if y'all know about that. And News Radio.
Just Shoot Me, yeah.
Yep. We would watch those shows, and we'd just be cracking up at the silliness of the others.
We're the coloreds. They're the others.
But no, girl, it was good TV. I want to know. I'm interested to see if you're going to name whatever your last show is, because I want to know if you snubbed one of mine that I know you enjoy.
Okay, that can be anything, but I want to. I listed this show. Well, I deliberately didn't say this show because I knew it was a hot button topic.
What show you think? I don't think you're thinking what I'm thinking.
I know I'm not thinking the one that you're thinking, but you can tell me the one that you're thinking. But this is the one that I didn't say. Although, no. Well, let me easily say this one. I got
another one.
No, let me get this one out the way.
Go ahead.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, I mean, to me that was an easy one, but that's not what I was thinking.
Okay.
Seinfeld's hilarious. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that watch it, they don't get it, and I think that's the point. Like, it's nothing for you to get. It's just people living and doing whatever they do.
I think it has the Frasier thing to it. Like even though Frasier is more of a scripted type of deal, it's very under the surface humor, and I think that that's what like Seinfeld is. Like, it's funny, but it's not somebody trying to make you laugh, tell a joke funny.
Yeah. Along with that, because I mean, these are brothers. Curb Your Enthusiasm. If y'all haven't watched that show, man,
that's a good time.
Veep. That's another one for you.
Veep?
Same family. It's not similar premise, but stars.
Okay, real quick. I'm trying to. I'll save this. Okay, real quick. You're taking too long. Real quick. House of Dragons. Not House of Dragons.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. You know what I mean.
The ultimate letdown. And y'all know what y'all did. Loved it until I didn't.
Why do you think I came all this way?
I mean, I could have kicked that little boy over in that chair. I was so upset. I wanted Cersei to die a miserable death. If the Queen of Dragons was gonna go out, I wanted it to go out with a bang. Like, it was just all this stuff. You gave us a scene between the mountain and the hound. Like, I mean, come on. They did that on purpose. I know they did that on purpose.
Here's my controversial one. Friends.
I only watched Friends up to like season 4 or something. After a while, Monica's character was too silly. Joey was never attractive to me. So it was just really strange for him to play the playboy. But at the beginning, it was funny. Learning now about where it all came from,
That's the controversy. First of all, I got you with the joy line. That's how I pulled you in. I was like, "How you doing?"
Negative, because I would have walked right past.
It worked. Here we are. So, tell them about the controversy.
Friends is a ripoff from Living Single, almost to the T.
Direct ripoff.
Like friends, two sets of friends, opposite sex, lives intertwined, professionals. Even it was admitted that one of the producers was in the room, I think, for a Living Single. They were talking about it, and then he just took that and made Friends, and Friends blew up.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And the way that they treated the cast on Living Single, how, even down to the craft services on set was like next to nothing compared to what Friends was getting on this. They were on the same lot. You have to really hear them. Look up some YouTube clips of even Queen Latifah talks about it. The bigger star on Living Single, about how it was just a direct ripoff.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I feel, because I loved Friends. I loved Friends, but I didn't know.
Smelly Cat, that was my jam.
Did you know Smelly Cat was a direct ripoff of My Funny Valentine when Kyle sung it?
Shut up, Gerald. Scooby Bop. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, what's his name?
T.C.
Carson. Hey, shout out to T.C. Carson, man. Come on the show next time you're in town.
Yeah, okay.
Give you some time. He does, like, he's out.
I know, he was at the Jazz Festival last year. You didn't want to go, remember?
No, I was not in a rush to come out the house to go see T.C. Carson.
You missed out.
Did I?
I mean, yeah. Can I name my show?
Next time T.C. Carson is in town.
We going at the Cheesecake Factory.
I'm going to take my wife out on a fancy night. Cheesecake and TC.
I'm down.
What's your show, darling?
My eyes are getting weary. My back is getting tight. King of Queens. One of the funniest sitcoms of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. My question is, why do you think that King of Queens is not in the upper echelons of comedies?
The network it was on, CBS.
But that's funny. Why don't people like CBS? Because all the shows, they have like the top rated shows.
Now, back then, it was way more newsy type, documentary type stuff.
Well, what's that show that I don't like that
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
That's now. That's what I'm saying. That's newer. King of Queens was really before that.
Mm-mm.
But had that been a show on Fox?
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Stiller, God rest the dead.
National treasure, man.
Man, hilarious.
National treasure.
Did you tell him you were old? Did you tell him you were fat? I love that show.
Yeah. But it's so funny though, because like I still think that like it won't get the recognition that it deserves to be.
No, but they rebooted it. I mean, it didn't work out because a lot of reboots didn't. But people love it. I bet people watch it. I bet you in the comments is gonna be people like, "Oh, I love that show." A lot of people did watch that show.
King of Queens.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Anything we missing?
I mean, I'm sure it's a lot, but I don't know.
What do you think about Big Bang Theory?
Oh, I watched it. I tried. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
I think they tried too hard to be smart, but it's not quite that. It's just a little not that great for me. How I Met Your Mother.
I really like that show.
It had moments for me, but it's not something that I could watch again. I would need to watch over.
Ozark.
Man, I'm still haven't finished the last season because sometimes it gets a little too intense, and then life happens. But Ozark is amazing. Great show.
2 Girls in a Pizza Place.
No, not for me.
They have wonderful gowns.
Beautiful gowns.
Okay. My loving wife, you've taken up all of our time today.
Good.
All of our time today. So I guess for those of y'all who are looking for these, for those of you who, man, I got to get that sound bite, the Kirk Franklin. For those of you who got message gospel too far.
Okay.
This show is brought to you by Cheesecake Factory and Kirk Franklin. Yeah, we'll do that another time. Y'all all right. Y'all all right for right now. But wasn't this good? This is this is what the lunch table is about. This is what the lunch table is about. Because remember when you were in school and you would go to lunch and you sit down with your friends and you would just talk about just crap, and it was good and it was a good time and you learned something, and you know, it's the lunch table.
Yes, I remember all those things.
So this is what this is.
It was a good time.
This is Lunch with the Cool Kids. And did you know that I'm not the cool kid? Well, you're the coolest kid, let me say that. And you're the prettiest kid too.
Thank you.
But we're not the cool kids. Well, you are. But the people listening are. You guys are the cool kids.
Yes, you are.
So, y'all tell us what we missed, because I know we missed something. There's a show on the tip of my tongue that I cannot think of, but y'all in the comments or however you're consuming this, y'all let us know what we missed or what we should be up on, and maybe we'll do a part 2. You know what would be a good idea? What would be a good idea is, what if we did a part 2, and what if we did a part 2 and we let people call in or comment? Ooh, what if it was a live show?
I'm scared of live shows.
Why?
Because I know people trying to get me.
Nobody's trying to get you.
They're out there.
Stop looking at the camera.
They know who they are. I see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we're gonna end our show. Make sure I press the right button. That ain't it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this wonderful episode of Lunch with the Cool Kids. My name is Gerald Davis. I'm your host, and this is my loving wife, Danielle.
Thank you.
Had a wonderful time. However you listen to this, make sure that you rate us before you go and tell somebody about us. But until next time, man, I miss it every time, y'all. Every time. We getting better. But hey, we're about to get out of here. You make sure that you change the world. Don't let the world change you.